Welcome. Okay, no.
Welcome, everyone, to the Swoonsisters Society, a podcast where two sisters discuss the swooniest moments that happen in books, TV shows, movies, and real life. I'm like the brother's girlfriend leaf.
You're so right, girl. That's so hot.
The Sharpay Evans. Meh.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Laura.
We're two sisters who live in different states, but we FaceTime constantly to talk about romance, and now we're bringing that to you, baby.
Let's get right into it. We're starting off with the Kings of Sin series by Anna Huang. So we're starting off with the first book in the series, which is King of Wrath. And I'm just going to do a quick overview of the book for those of you who haven't read it. So King of Wrath, the first book in the Kings of Sin series, this book chronicles the romance between Vivian Lau and Dante Russo. Vivian is a jewelry heiress, and Dante is an Italian billionaire CEO. Dante never planned to marry until the threat of blackmail forces him into an arranged engagement. Vivian is the perfect daughter, and marrying a Russo means opening doors that would otherwise remain closed for her new money parents. She agrees to the arranged marriage to Dante out of duty for her family. All right. Katie, do you want to give your spoiler-free rating?
I will give my spoiler-free rating. And the first time I read it, I actually listened to it, and I feel like you have to read this one because sometimes listening to it is like not the same. And I feel like, especially with this kind of writing, that's like, I love the way Anna Huang writes. Sometimes, like, I love her books, but it's a little like Wattpad-y at times. So I would say it's like a solid 3. Loved the main character. I like the main girl a lot, and solid 3.
Yeah. Solid 3. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, when I first read this book, I read it like physically as a book. And I freaking loved it. I don't know why.
I know you were obsessed.
I ripped through the book. Like, I think I read it in 3 days. It was crazy. So and then I finished it. I was obsessed with it, and I went back after I read the second book. I was like, no, I need to go back to the first one and reread parts that I loved. So I think because of that, I'm gonna have to give it a 4 for me.
Damn, that's high. So
I know.
Just to like give what we're saying a little bit of leverage. So we have a rating scale. 3, which is what I rated it, is going to be average. I enjoyed it, but I probably wouldn't go back to it once I was done. There were parts and characters in the book that I loved. That is true. And we'll get into that. And I would recommend it to somebody. I would. And then a 4 is loved. The book had you squealing and swooning, honey. You were obsessed. We love those billionaires who are problematic. And would definitely recommend to others. A lot of tropes in this one.
Yes, so many tropes. I mean, I think that might be one of the reasons I loved it so much. Like, one of my favorite tropes ever is arranged marriage. I love
me
that
too,
trope. Like, love it when they have to be together, but they don't want to be together. You know?
I get that. But I feel like also, okay, now getting into a little bit of like the spoilers.
Yeah, now spoilers from now on.
The reasons for the marriage had him disliking her more than like she disliked him. So it started out with like she was his enemy, but he wasn't necessarily her enemy, I feel like. So it was like a little bit of enemies to lovers, but more like dislike to love, I feel like.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call them enemies because, like, she says it in the book, like, she was always expecting to have an arranged marriage. So this is just kind of something that she was expecting for herself. Whereas, like, the way that he gets into it is this is one of the things I love about her books is like the drama. It's so
literally
so crazy. Like the brother's life is on the line. All right,
he had to save his brother because his brother was
the brother's life is on the line.
Like, the brother was being messy.
He was being messy.
But like, if he's got to die for that, I'm sorry, that's terrible. Never mind.
No, No, you can't let the brother die.
No.
But yeah, so basically the Vivian's the main female character, her dad goes to Dante at the beginning of the book and basically says, I have all these photos of your brother fucking around with this mob heiress girl. And basically, if the big mob boss gets a hold of those photos, they'll put a hit on Dante's brother. So,
Yeah.
so in order for Vivian's dad not to reveal those photos to the mob boss, he basically says, you have to marry my daughter. And the reason he wants that is because I guess Vivian's family is kind of like new money. And they're not very well, like they are respected, but they're not as respected as like the Russos, who have been billionaires for generations.
Forever. They have a house in Lake Como, honey.
Oh my god.
They're rolling in it.
Yes. So basically he wants a Russo in his family. So he blackmails Dante Russo into marrying his daughter. But Vivian doesn't know that. Vivian just thinks that they made a business arrangement and that she's going to marry Dante because of that, and that it's beneficial for him too.
Yeah.
Which, now that we're getting more into it, it kind of becomes apparent that it's like, if it's beneficial for him, he's very not into it at the beginning. Like, he's really upset about it. And I feel like she's so frustrated with him because she doesn't know how to like get in there.
Yes,
you know?
but okay, I will say that even though he's not into the marriage, it is insta lust. Like from 10 pages in, he's already like looking at her. I'm trying to control myself and shit. So like he's very attracted to her. He's like, oh, I shouldn't be having these. It's like, oh, I feel for her, but she's the daughter of the enemy. I shouldn't be having these feelings, like kind of thing from his side.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is like, it's hot.
Cute.
Okay.
Like, I like that. Listen, and the fact that he's Italian too, like,
okay,
stop.
I was saving this for later, but yes, he's Italian and he has the cutest nickname for her.
No, we have to save that for later.
Okay.
Yes, the nickname is spot on. Great job, like, on the nickname. It's one of the best.
And it really does like develop, I feel like. Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Okay. The other thing about this book the other thing about this book I wanted to talk about at the beginning is, and one of the reasons probably why it's rated higher for me, is I love a book that takes place in New York City. So
I put that on my notes. I put New York City, perfect, like classic romantic destination. Any book, movie, anything that takes place in New York, immediately it's the romance. And then you go there in real life and you're like, wow, this is it. But it's disgusting at the same time in some ways. But it's beautiful.
But you see it in your head and it's just romantic. And they're in the Upper East Side, which is like beautiful. And
oh my God, yeah. And they have money. They don't have to worry.
No, their life in New York is nothing like how it really is, obviously. Like, it's a dream.
She just like, I spend my days going through the park, walking around, planning. Okay, sorry. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, so I like the little club that they go to, like that. What is it called? The Valhalla.
Yes,
Vahaya, but it's not.
Vahaya. El Club de that's in Hialeah, girl.
Vahaya. It's definitely Valhalla. And I just reading about that, I'm like, I wonder if something like this actually exists.
Oh, for sure it does. And I feel like there is where we get some of the characters, get to know them, who are going to be in the later books in the series too.
Yeah, you meet like Kai and Isabella, her friends. Yeah, like you meet them a little bit at the beginning of the book.
So let's break down all the characters and what we thought about them.
Yeah. Yes.
So our main girl.
Vivian.
I knew it was a V. I know her friends' names. Isabella, Sloane. Why couldn't I remember her? She's the main one. Maybe because she was basic. That's my thoughts.
She was a little basic. One of the things that bothered me about her, and I don't know if you got this sense, like in the book, she talks about how like she can remember a time when her family wasn't wealthy.
Yes.
But then, and she's like always talking about, like, she reminisces on that time about like how wonderful it was. But then in the same breath, she takes his like Amex Black and spends $150,000 in a day
just to get back at him. I'm like, girl.
I mean,
You
she paid
want to
him
be
back.
rich, like you know
She
that, like
yeah, she paid him back when he said that. He said
yeah.
some shit to her and like
And I think she
and
does say like, I am privileged and like I'm happy, that I'm grateful and stuff. She says something along those lines. But at the end of the day, like it
she's a
doesn't
rich girl.
she's a rich girl, and like what is her personality besides planning things and going to the park? Like what
Yeah.
is her actual personality? Like I feel like we never got that. And every time
Yeah.
she was quirky, it was just cuz she was like eating food. And I'm like, "Okay, what more?"
Agreed a little bit. Agreed. Like there was no I guess you kind of get depth into her when she talks about like her family and stuff, but I don't know, like I'm trying to think like she doesn't have
Yeah,
a
like her
hobby.
backstory. I would say she does. It is really important to her to um like be there for her family because she feels
Yeah.
like her parents gave up everything for her. So
Right.
like she feels like now it's her turn to take care of them, which is why she gets into the arrangement in the first place. So that I think is pretty noble, and I like that. Honestly, like she's like really sweet with like all the people in the house, and like she kind of makes it like a home and stuff, and like I like that
Oh my
too.
god. Oh my god. When she comes in on move-in day, like this is what I'm saying. She's just such a rich girl. She comes in on move-in day and he says that she brings um Levain cookies for the staff. And I'm like,
What even
have
is that?
okay, it's this cookie place here in New York and the cookies are no joke, like this they're like huge. They're like this big, round,
Wow.
and then they're like this thick. So and they're expensive. And in my head, I'm like, is she bringing a box of a dozen of these $12 each cookies or something? Like, what is she bringing? Like, why did we say that she brought Levain cookies? Like, I'm trying to just picture it in my head.
Because it's so expensive.
Yeah, like it's bougie. Like she couldn't just bring like
It's giving Gossip Girl energy.
yeah, yeah. So like, I guess I like Vivian, but I wish they had given her like I'm trying to think. I can't remember if she has a hobby, like an artistic hobby or anything. She doesn't have
Does
anything, right?
she?
Other than
Does she like
planning.
paint or something? No, she doesn't. I think that's
No.
no. I think she's just a planner, which is cool. Like that's a thing. I kind of like her. I think her friends are even more interesting, which is funny
No,
because
don't get me started. I love Isabella.
the main love interest. Let's talk about
Dante.
Dante. Okay, Dante. He was good. Was he the same man we've seen a million times? Yes. Will I see him a million times again and still love him? Yes. But he's Italian and he is a little bit possessive, which is a good type.
That is the thing about Anna. She's always going to give you a possessive man.
Oh yeah.
And I love that.
Just a little sprinkle of toxicity just makes the book shine that much brighter.
I love Dante Russo. And I think I wrote this down like if a male character has his first or last name starts with the letter R, like I'm going to love him. It's like a rule.
Really? Like who else?
Reese.
Oh, okay, yeah, obviously.
Reese Ryerson.
Okay, you said first or last name, but I was just thinking last name. No, Reese Ryerson. Oh
Ryerson.
right.
No, there's so many. There's so many.
Also, Reese is the name of the main guy from Twisted Games too, which is another Anna Huang book. My favorite by her, by the way.
Exactly. So it's just so Dante Russo. Like the minute I saw his name, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna love him.
So he has like a backstory where
yeah,
his parents are characters that come in, and you see that they kind of left him to live with his grandpa, him and his brother, because they couldn't really handle taking care of children. Like they're just business people, and they live in Bali now, and they like are all like peace and love, but they're really not. At the end of the day, they're like still a little bit like selfish. So they left Dante and his brother to live with their grandfather, who was like the main businessman of their empire, and kind of just taught them to be all about business, which is why Dante's just like very cold, take care of things. And his brother's a little bit messy, so he's always had to like take care of his brother kind of and like fix things for him. So he's like very kind of loving. He has that side to him. He cares about his family. But he's cold and he's
well, yeah, he had to grow up very fast and and yeah, he's a billionaire. Like he's he definitely had to become like big brother, like the parent. Like his parents were not parents and he had to become that. So I think it like shows a lot in his character. I love the way she developed Dante because you can kind of see him like really, really cold and standoffish in the beginning, and then he starts to like eat away at him, and she starts to like he starts to soften up and get like, you know, like you love when a man starts to fall in love and they get a little soft.
The groveling in this book is exquisite.
It is
good. Exquisite.
So
his
good.
Turnaround. I eat it up. Yes.
Okay, do you want to talk about the side characters real quick before we get into like the main love story?
Yes.
Okay, so
Sloane is like just a very much like a businesswoman. She's a PR person. Is she getting a book, or does she already have a book?
I believe she's getting a book, and it comes out April 30th, I think.
She's like, she's workaholic.
She's a mystery. She's a workaholic.
Mm-hmm. But like they have their little happy hours together, like all the girls, which are really cute. And they're always supposed to put their phones down, and they're not. Whoever picks up their phone first picks up the tab, which I want to do with my friends. Like that's actually smart. Thank you, Anna Huang. But she's the one who always loses and ends up picking up the tab because she's such a workaholic. She's always on her phone. Then you want to talk about Isabella?
Yeah. Oh my God, Isabella. She's like just. I feel like Isabella's just a spicy girl. Like she's gonna be. How do I say this? Like just snarky, and she's a wild card. Like I would love to have a best friend like Isabella. Like just if you hang out with her, you don't know like where the night's gonna take you. She's always talking about inappropriate things.
And she's like super self-made. Like she takes care of herself. She's a bartender.
Oh, she writes erotic thrillers.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
She's supporting her dreams.
Yes.
I can relate to her, you know, in that way. Like literally I work in the service industry and I'm also trying to pursue the arts. So she's the one who I feel like I relate to the most.
Okay.
Which is funny because I didn't say that before, but now I see
it. Now you see it. Yeah. She's so cute.
Yeah.
And then, well, I guess if we're talking about Isabella, we can like flow into Kai because he catches her talking about condoms, I think like 2 times.
Literally.
It's so funny. Honestly though, first impressions of Kai, I don't know. He seems a little stuck up for me.
A little stuck up.
So I don't know. I gotta see where Kai goes in the next book. But the fact that he boxes with Dante though, like gives him a little bit of an edge. So that's.
Oh my God, I forgot that they box together. Yeah. Yeah. That's Dante's therapy.
Isn't that crazy?
He's like,
but isn't.
There's literally one in the book that says that. It's like, who needs therapy when you could beat the crap out of your best friend? Like, what? Sir, you.
Oh my God. No, like, can you imagine being married or dating someone who boxed every week? So they'd have like a black eye every week, all the time. I mean, like, getting punched
you live
in the
lifestyle.
But getting punched in the face every week is crazy.
No, that's a lot.
I was reading that. I'm just like, this is nuts.
It reminds me of Bridgerton though, because that's what Anthony and the Duke do. They box.
It's so the Duke. Oh my gosh, Dante could totally be the Duke. Like, whew, that is a good comparison. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I never even thought about it like that.
No, I did not make that comparison.
But his accent, like the way I imagine him, there's this actor that everybody imagines him as, and it's literally. Have you seen him?
No.
He's an Italian actor. His name is Michelle Marone. Michelle.
Immediately gonna look him up.
I'm gonna put a picture of him like right here.
Okay.
Because that's who everybody says that he is, and it's literally perfect.
Okay. Do we want to? I think that's it for the characters. Like, I think
those are the important ones.
I think you get a taste for Alessandra and Dominic, but you don't really see them in this book too much.
I think her parents, like, her dad, are like the biggest evil characters in this.
Oh yeah,
antagonist.
That's
what I was looking for. Antagonist.
The dad is definitely the evil person. the evil presence.
The evil presence. It's giving unrealistic for me because she has all these memories of them before they were rich, and their dad would take them places and they would go on these camping trips together as a family, and it was so full of love. And now it's a full 180 where her dad's like the biggest asshole and never has even one tender moment with her. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just he seemed like too bad. Like
this is what I love about her books, the family drama. The dad, blackmail, the brother's life on the line. Give it all to me. Like, I love this about her books.
See, like, I'm okay with it. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. It's very telenovela, and like that's what you love.
I do.
It's very Jane the Virgin, like
yes.
Like I could have the romance without like his brother's getting blackmailed and somebody's gonna die and he's getting beaten, like all this. And oh my god, something happens with her too, where she gets we'll get into that.
Oh my god, that's right. Yeah, no, okay, hold on. Let's go like I guess in order of the love story. We didn't talk about that.
Yes. Okay, so I'll talk about their first meeting. It was contentious. So he's invited to her family's house to meet, to basically talk about the proposal. So he could does he officially propose to her there?
It's pretty much like
it's just already set in stone. Basically, he could not give two flying flipperty flips. He goes to her dad's office to smoke a cigar. He's very contentious of her. He's like, they plan to do 1 year of marriage, and he's like, thank God that'll be enough for me to get this blackmail stuff back from her dad and dip, because I don't want to be with this woman any longer than I have to be. So just contentious. Then
yeah, definitely.
Moving towards first kiss.
Wait, I just want to say one thing about their first meeting. When he's in the dad's office and he thinks about like burning their house down.
I'm like, oh honey.
I love that. I love a morally gray character, because like he would burn the house down. Like,
who doesn't? But it comes back to haunt his morally grayness.
Yes. Okay, so let's move to the first kiss. The first kiss, so Vivian and Dante have to take engagement photos, and they decide to do it in Central Park. So they're in Central Park taking these engagement photos, and the photographer is like, oh, let me get one of you guys kissing. And Vivian is like, no, we don't like PDA. And the photographer is like, I'm the only one here. And Vivian's like, well, we really don't like showing in front of anyone at all. And then like as Vivian's rambling, like Dante just grabs her and kisses her to get it over with. But obviously,
and then it goes on longer than it needed to, and it's like that's my favorite little like micro trope is that moment. You could put that in a million books. I will eat it up every time.
Oh like, yeah,
the fake kiss that ends up like going on a little too long, pulling up a little too many feelings, and then after that is like I feel like their first sweet moment where they kind of get to know each other.
Yeah, like they walk out and they have breakfast together, and she sees that like he knows the breakfast cart guy's name, and she's like, oh well, my dad would never eat at a breakfast cart. And like Dante is like one of the richest men in the world. He's like on freaking oh my god, I can't remember.
Like Forbes lists, and
I was gonna compare him to the guy who owns Amazon, and I can't.
Jeff Bezos.
Thank you. He's like on Jeff Bezos level, like Elon Musk level. This guy is like a billionaire, and he's eating from the corner cart because they have good food, and he knows the guy's name. So like, I think she starts to see him in a different light a little bit.
Yes.
And then they talk about, what do they talk about there? I think like their childhood. Oh yeah, he tells her about going to the Moon Dust Diner with his brother and getting the best milkshakes ever, and that's so cute.
Can I just say, every time they have like a deep, emotional, any kind of moment like that, why does it always revolve around food? Like every single time.
Wait, because hers was the dumpling place, right?
No, there's so many. Wait, oh my god. It's bagels at the park, then Pringles and olives, then soup, then the dumpling place, then they go to the milkshakes, then they go to the Eiffel Tower day, and they talk about popcorn and olives and like how that's weird or not to eat. Like every moment that they bond, their conversation is about food. And I'm like, okay, one time, two times, but like 5 times in the same book. Honestly, it's kind of realistic though. But
Wait, I didn't even notice that. I was just like, yeah, so cute.
It is cute, but I would like a little bit more deeper level of a conversation, because every time they bond, it's like, this is how you know we're having our quirky, sweet, personal moment. What, you eat popcorn with your olives? Oh, that's crazy. Like, oh my god.
Okay, Katie, it's Pringles with
Pickles. No, but then
they talk about olives, yeah, later on. Yeah.
Like, how many times? Anna Huang loves getting people to connect through food, but honestly, it's realistic. Like, I have like a million conversations with my boyfriend about food every day.
I mean, like, you're over there talking to me. Like, I don't even know how many pizza places you've probably talked about with Josh. So,
fair enough.
Anyway,
but I'd like to get to know more about their personality. Sometimes I will say.
I get it. But so you mentioned food, so let's go to like their next sweet moment after the kiss is the late night snack. So when they meet each other in the kitchen,
this is my favorite moment in the whole book, I will say.
Really?
I don't know why, because it's so cute. Like, she's looking for Pringles.
Yeah, it's
and
cute.
He comes, he's like, what are you doing? She's like, looking for Pringles, and she's like on her hands and knees. Like, I just imagine this to be super awkward. Him kind of being amused by her and being like, okay, like, here you go. And then he stays with her and they eat, and I don't know, it feels like the first, like, it's like theirs. I don't know, the first moment that's like really theirs.
I just want to know, like, did she make these snacks up, or are these real things that people eat? Because like hers, okay, his is vanilla ice cream with soy sauce, which, like, salty, sweet, whatever. I think weird, but weird, but whatever. Hers is a Pringle with pudding, chocolate pudding, and a pickle on top.
Jail.
What? Jail. Oh, but you know what it was giving? It was giving like the Parent Trap when they're both
That's exactly
eating.
What I'm thinking of. Okay, but that was peanut butter and Oreos, which makes sense. This was going, I'm sorry, but out of the most unrealistic thing in this book was not even any of the blackmail, or it was that.
Pringles and pickles and pudding. Oh my god, PPP. If that was my snack, I'd be like, I'm in the mood for a little PPP. Okay, then the next, like, after that, I think the next really cute moment in the book is the night of the fall ball in Valhalla. Like, that's the next cute moment in the book, yes. I think.
I love their moments at Valhalla.
Oh my god, I love Valhalla. Like, I wish I could go. I wish it was a real place, and I wish I was rich, and I wish I could go. Like, it sounds so fabulous.
Amen, sister. I wish I was rich.
Anyway, so they're at the ball, and I'm trying to remember what happens. Oh my god, I love this part. This is one of my favorite parts in the book. She goes to the bar, and Kai comes up to her, and they start talking. They're not talking about anything crazy. They're just having a conversation. And Dante looks at her from across the room, and he gets so upset. And he comes over, and he tells Kai to leave, basically. And then Vivian is like, did you have to be so rude? And Dante says something like, you're my fiance, not Kai's, or something like that. I love
jealousy,
that part.
Jealousy. I literally wrote down that quote because I was so obsessed.
Yes.
And he says, you forget, you're my fiance, not Kai's, not anyone else's. I don't give a fuck how handsome they are. I have to put a beat there. Or what kind of accent they have. You're mine and no one. I dip my head, my lips brushing with each word. Touches what's mine. I'm like, yes, possess her.
That's another one of my. Is that a trope? Like, touch her and you die. Like,
touch her, you die.
Oh,
yes,
one of my favorites.
Which is how he is when I forgot what point in the book this is, but at some point, she is at one of the stores that he owns, and people come to rob the store, and they hold her hostage for a little bit, and he F's those people up so bad, and it's so satisfying. I'm like, yes, vengeance. Oh, it's just, I love that. it's like he doesn't even want to love her, but like just her existing affects him so much that he can't help but be obsessed with her.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. I love
Me
when they're like,
too.
when they're not in control of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Anna Huang always writes these male leads that are just like, they're so taken with the female lead that
Yes, the
they're just
pining.
out of control. Yeah, I love that. I love it. Sure. Okay, well, let's just, first of all, the next little note I have on this book is his nickname for her.
Say it.
Mia cara. Like,
I
no,
know, it's so cute. And the fact that
it's literally giving Gomez Adams, Gomez and Morticia. Like,
oh my god, I never thought of that, but yes,
his
just
name for her is Cara Mia. It's the opposite.
you're so right. Mia cara.
Mia cara. Like,
because at first he says it as like a yes, Mia cara, let's go. Like, and then at the end he's like groveling for her and he's like, Mia cara. Like, it's such a good switch, like when you compare when he first says it to when he last says it. Fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I never even thought of that, like comparing it. Because like when he last says it, and I think you're talking about the scene where she's like, there's no way we can be together. And he says it, and it's like,
I know,
it's like heartbreaking.
That one hit. That one
hit.
Anna, you did good, girl. You did good with that one.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the other, well, we kind of dipped into the robbery, but the other big like plot point in this book is that her ex came out of the woodwork when
oh my god, another touch for you die moment. How did I totally forget? A lot happened in this book, okay? This book was filled with tropes, girl.
So Vivian dated this guy Heath in college, I think, and her parents did not approve because he wasn't wealthy, and basically they had to break up because her parents didn't approve. And if there's like one thing about Vivian in this book, her biggest character point is that she is a dutiful daughter, and she does anything that her parents tell her to. So she breaks up with this guy that she was in love with in college, and all of a sudden he comes back. She tells him that she's engaged, and now he just wants her back. And I guess while Dante is on a business trip in DC, it's very complicated how this happens, but I guess Dante's business...
Well, first he sends her flowers, too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. All right, fine. The ex sends her flowers. Dante does not like that. That's why he goes to DC to like get away from her. Because they're like not talking. And while he's in DC, I guess he makes Christian, who's the head of his security, like upset. And to get back at Dante, Christian sends a text to Vivian's ex pretending it's from Vivian. And the ex shows up at Dante and Vivian's house. The ex shows up at Dante and Vivian's house while Dante is in DC.
And we don't know as a reader that Dante planned this whole entire thing too. Like,
you mean that Christian planned it?
Yeah, Christian planned it for Dante.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So Dante finds out that the ex is there and basically like books it back home on his private jet, like right away. And when he gets there, Vivian is being like held against the wall by her ex or something?
Yes, because he's like, you know that you really want me. Do you really want to be with Dante? Like, you know it's not real. Whatever. He's being creepy. He's being too much.
Yeah. And then Dante like pulls him off and basically says like, oh, if you try to steal another man's fiance, don't do it in his own house or something, and like kicks him out. And then him and Vivian like have a super heated moment. And this is the night that they first like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, they did the forking?
Yeah.
They did the forking that night. Yeah, so they fork. And it's good. And then I'm trying to think afterwards, do they start dating like right away, or do they still have a little bit of angst? I think they still have a little bit of angst after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Dante's struggling, man. Like, he knows this relationship is going to end, but he can't help falling for Vivian. So he's just like, what does he do?
And then they go on a bunch of dates
Cute
and they're kind of
date.
just like exploring the relationship, and it's really sweet because
Yeah.
they're like actually like a married couple for a little bit.
No,
and then
their romance montage is so cute because, like, the planetarium date, please.
wait, you have to get into that. Yes.
The planetarium date is probably one of my favorite moments in the book. Like, like he turned the room into a planetarium for them for the night, and then had a whole blanket picnic set up. But this is the other thing. Like, this is like, I got that they're rich, and every time in the book, like, something has to be brought up to remind me about how rich they are. And at the planetarium date, it's like they're having wine, and the wine, I think,
It was like $200 bottle, right?
no, it was like 600,000. It was something $1,000. It was something crazy, and I'm like, I almost Googled, does a $600,000 bottle of wine even exist? Like,
Does it?
I don't know. And I'm like, don't quote me. I don't know if it was 600,000, but it was something thousand. It was not a couple hundred. It was a lot. The planetarium date. So Dante takes her to Valhalla, and he takes her into, like, what he calls a rec room in Valhalla that can be turned into anything. And basically, he turned it into their own private planetarium. And then he set up a romantic picnic underneath the stars for them to just spend the night. And honestly, it's giving Ross and Rachel from Friends, because Ross did the same thing for Rachel.
Oh my God, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the bar is on the ceiling right now.
It's like
that
high.
one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was really cute. But also, he's a billionaire, so he could just call up people and be like, do this, make this a thing. Like, it's not hard. So she's planning this huge, there's a whole plot line where she's planning this big ball. Oh, what's it called? What's the ball called?
The Legacy Ball.
The Legacy Ball. And usually it's only people of really, really high stature that get to plan this ball. And because of her name, she usually wouldn't be thought of to plan it, but because she's, engaged to a Russo, they give her a chance. Messed up. But they give her a chance to plan this ball, and the place that she's gonna do it at, it's floods or something happens, and she can't find a place to do it. And he pulls strings to have it done at Valhalla, and like no questions asked, he just like fixes it for her. And that was, you're so right, girl. That's so hot.
No, like, those parts in those billionaire books, like, that's a turn on. I'm sorry. Yeah. You can fix all my problems. Yeah. Immediate turn on.
I feel like it's like the only like non-toxic like masculine trait that he has is that he does have, he has good traits. He has some toxicity though. But sometimes, okay, let's be real though. The books that we read, like, do I want my relationships to look exactly like this in real life? No. But is it a fantasy? Is it fun? Is it kind of hot to be a little toxic in the books I read only? Yes. Well, yes.
Even though I will say, like, the other day, this has nothing to do with the book, but the other day, I forgot where I was. Like, I think at a networking event, and someone was saying how, like, oh, I love my spouse so much, like, I would die for them. Like, I would totally die for my spouse. And I'm just listening to them talk, and I'm just like, I guess I must have been making a face because they asked me something, and then I was like, yeah, like, my husband would not die for me. Like,
yes, he would. No, he would.
No. So then I came home, and I'm telling him about this conversation that I had at a networking event, and he was like, without being prompted, I swear, he was like, I mean, I wouldn't die for you, but he was like, but I would kill for you. I was like, ooh. That's okay. So the Legacy Ball. So I think we've talked about everything else pretty much, but so she's planning this Legacy Ball. Oh, they go to Paris together. That is super cute, them in Paris. And when she goes dress shopping and she gets that dress for the Legacy Ball, like, her description of that dress, I want to see it. Like, it was
When do I get to go shopping in Paris for a dress for a ball that I'm hosting? That's just my question.
one day. Manifest it. Yeah, so she buys this dress, which honestly is giving like Katniss that second time that she goes to the Hunger Games.
Yes,
Like, that's what
yes.
the dress is giving. Like, when
It's
she
giving
describes it.
power.
Yes,
Mm.
because it has like phoenix feathers on it and stuff. Like,
And
it
it is
just
kind of like a symbol because she is kind of taking back
rising
her
from the
power.
ashes. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Um, we're getting kind of close to like towards the end. So after no, before the legacy ball in Paris is when Dante gets the call from Christian that they found all the copies of the blackmail and that they are going to be able to destroy it and basically need to make a decision. Do you want to destroy her dad and take him down?
And he chooses to
And
destroy her father
he chooses to do that
and her
because that's what
family's company.
but that's what that was his goal from the beginning. So
But he
yeah,
loves her at this point.
but he hasn't like confessed that to himself yet. He hasn't accepted that fact. He doesn't know
But
that he loves her.
he does. Look,
Well,
they've
he
been through
doesn't
so
know.
much at this point, and he chooses to do something that he knows will hurt her. That part
I know,
made me mad.
I know. And then he pushes her away for like a week, and then
When he's in the pushing her away mode, I feel so bad. But then you know what? I love that she does. They're at a dinner, and he hates it when his food touches, and she like shoves his chicken into his peas, like as an
that's like
F
that's the level of petty that I strive to be.
yeah.
Yeah, and then what else? Oh, the way that she finds out about it is that she plans to take lunch to his office, and she's like in his office and gonna wait for to get out of a meeting, and she passes his office and she hears her dad's voice from the office. So
Yes.
yeah, so she hears everything. She hears that it was blackmail, that Dante never wanted to marry her, that he was forced into it, and she kind of runs out of the office. I mean, like, I didn't love how she found out. I kind of wish Dante had told her a little bit, but whatever.
That would have been best, but like the drama. They were building up to her eventually finding out.
Yeah.
Um there's also a conflict before this where they're at dinner with her parents and she like turns into like a different person
Yes.
for her parents and she really tries to please them. Dante like gets kind of mad because he's like, you're not being yourself around them, and
Yeah.
like, why are you letting them like do that to you, like take away your shine? And she's like, you well, basically telling him that he doesn't understand, like
Yeah.
that they did everything for her, and like she's just trying to be a good daughter. They get in a fight, but then he realizes that he was wrong to like infringe on her, but she also realizes that he was right in a way too, and that all happens before, and then they get back together, they date, and then this happens.
Yes.
um
Yes. I just think like it's really that one of the big things for Vivian is that is a she wants to please her parents. She feels very indebted to them, and like she can't be her own person because at the end of the day, like she's doing whatever they want her to do. And I think that was
yeah,
Dante's point. Like maybe he didn't go about it the best way, but like that was his point. Like this isn't you, like this person
yeah,
that you act like in front of your parents, like, and then your parents are supposed to love you like no matter what. Like you don't have to act a certain way for your parents to love you. Like that's wrong. And she just coming from the
yes.
fact of the point of like, well, they're my elders, I have to respect them, and I get that to a certain point too, but girl.
I feel it, but then I feel like that's why it's such a turning point. Then when she overhears the conversation between Dante and her dad,
Yeah.
after that, Dante kind of freezes her out, and then she has like her big character moment.
Yeah, her epiphany, like I'm not gonna I guess you're right. Like she needed to hear her dad saying it, because I feel like if Dante would have told her, she's so like in her parents' web that I don't
Mm-hmm.
know that she would have 100% believed him. And I think that's part of the reason why he didn't tell her. You
Yeah.
know, because he couldn't trust that like she wouldn't just like go running to them and ask them. And then again, his like we cannot forget that his brother's life was on the line, so he couldn't risk it.
Okay, that's true. Whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, so Vivian finds out. She goes through her whole epiphany. She confronts her dad. That is a horrible confrontation. Like, I can't imagine that happening with my dad.
No, that's why I'm saying like her dad is like very heartless. Like to the
Yes.
point where like I feel like he's a little bit too evil. Like that it's not that believable to me.
Well,
Um
he needs to
but
be that evil. Like, yeah, he's
yeah, for
evil.
the story,
Yeah.
I don't know, but at least like I don't know why I wanted redemption of like him to realize that at least it was wrong, but maybe I'm just like I just like happy endings and I
I
like
think you just like happy
yeah.
endings for everyone, and it's not going to be like that in this book.
No, he's terrible and her mom is kind of the worst too.
Her
Um
mom is the worst. Her mom's a little bit better than the dad, but yeah, the
yeah.
dad is
But
bad.
after like she finally stands up to them, then we
Wait, this
have
is one of my favorite parts in the
okay,
book.
you talk about it.
Are you going to talk about the legacy ball? What were
No,
you going
go
to say?
talk about it. Talk about it.
Is that what you were going to bring up? The legacy
Yeah.
ball? Oh my God. So, one of my favorite parts in the book is she's at the legacy ball after this all happens, after she confronts her dad, after her and Dante, she moved out of his house. She's staying with her friend Sloane. Like, they're broken up in her head. She took off her engagement ring. Like, they're done. And as far as Vivian knows. And she's at the legacy ball. And obviously, at this point, Dante had told Christian to sink the company, like to take them out. And so there's already whispers going on about Loud Jules and Vivian and everything. And she's not wearing her engagement ring, even though she's at the ball. She's not wearing her engagement ring. So there's whispers and she's feeling the pressure. And someone even asks her if Dante will show up, and she's like, "Oh, you know, he's busy, he's working." And then she's oh, that's why this is one of my favorite parts. Kai asks her to dance and kind of hits on her a little bit, and then she's about to let him down gently because she only likes Kai as a friend. And then Kai's like, here he comes. And Vivian's like, what do you mean? And then like Dante comes right up and he's literally like, get your hands off my fiance.
It's giving. It's giving.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes, the ball scene.
Any time that happens, it's another one. A micro trope that I'm like, check yes. Check yes. It was so good.
And it was done well, I thought. So that's like one of my favorite parts. And then he confesses his love to her in that dance. Like they're dancing and he basically tells her like, I love you. He like confesses it because, and he only confesses it to her, by the way, because his brother made him realize that he's in love with her because of his epiphany with Leaf.
Because his brother fell in love with Leaf.
Yeah.
That was a sweet moment with them though.
I love that moment at the ball. And then he asks her on a date. She basically says no.
Yeah, like he's burned her like bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't blame her for saying no.
And then like she doesn't know where things are gonna go. Like he hates her father. Like they're so complicated at this point. Like I don't know. I wouldn't say yes either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
He loves her.
He does. He does.
Then like she's at her regular coffee shop where she does work, and she's like, I don't think this will work. Like, you know, us being who we are. So he bumps into her at that coffee shop because he knows that she'll be there. And he's like, hey, my name is Dante. Nice to meet you. Like trying to start over. Okay, that was cute. Okay,
that was really cute.
That was good.
I thought it was cute. Yeah.
And she agrees to like date him again. Then he puts out another fancy ass date for her too. Well,
are you freaking kidding me? Like their first real date after the part you just mentioned. Oh my God. Like he picks a movie for her that's about stars and romance. He buys, once again, food. He buys dumplings.
I tell you.
He buys dumplings from the best dumpling places in New York so that she can try them all. And he has a popcorn machine brought into his house.
Oh my God. Like, I would die. What's your favorite date of theirs? Like, which one would you be like, I want to be taken on this?
Ooh, I like that one that I just said, their first real date, but I also like the planetarium one. I think I
Let's
would do the planetarium one.
let's not forget he took her to, I think, somewhere like on top of the Eiffel Tower or overlooking the Eiffel Tower, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Amazing. Their first date was also notable mention. It was very cute. It was at the milkshake shop he loved as a kid, and he
Yeah.
takes her there, and it's like a little slice of reality. Is that the one I want to be taken on? No. Take me
No.
somewhere. Do something rich. Do something that costs money.
Yeah, if you're going to ask me which one I would want to go on, I can go to the diner down the street and get milkshakes.
Hell no.
No, I want to go to the Valhalla Club. Like that's
Oh, that's
I
where
wanna
I'm
go.
trying to go.
Yeah.
1,000%. I want to go somewhere where I have to wear a ball. Okay.
Yeah.
And
But
then
I like that their dates are, because that's the thing about Dante. Like, he's rich, he's a billionaire, but he enjoys everything in life.
yeah, that's true.
And I kind of like that about him. Like, he's very down to earth.
Down to earth. He just eats
Yeah.
normal food. That's like the only way he's down to earth.
Pretty damn, because I was going to say the diner, but that has to do with.
He cares about his brother. That's nice.
He does. He's a good big brother. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but like the way that he acts when he's trying to get her back is so good. It's so hot. He's like obsessed. Why do I just want a man to be obsessed? I just want a man on his knees. I want him to be like, I love you. Please take me back. I can't imagine myself with anyone but you. The moment that you left me, I felt so empty. I can't get over it. I thought it would be easy, but it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm just like, give it all to me.
He's like, you've been gone less than a week and I'm in hell. Yeah.
I'm like, yes. And I knew that's how it would go, and I was waiting for it. I was waiting for that shoe to drop, because we all know that that's what Anna's gonna do. That's what she does best.
No, so true. So true. I love it. I love when they get back together. How do they get back together? I'm trying to remember. Oh my God. I can't believe I almost forgot. Her sister calls her and says, come to Eldora. Like, I don't even know. I'm assuming this is like in Europe. And Dante, this is the other thing that I'm saying. Like, you solve all my problems. Like, my sister called, I have to go to Eldora. I got to look for a flight. He's like, no, just take my jet. Like, okay.
It reminds me of like why I love Logan Huntsberger in Gilmore Girls too. Yes. Like just a man to be like, you need to get somewhere, here, take my car, take my driver, take my chauffeur, my limo. I'm like,
yeah.
Any icks from the book? I have one.
Okay. Oh, I have one too. Go. You first.
The spicy scenes. What position are we in? What are we doing?
Wait. Specifically, the one where they're on their way to the planetarium date and they're in the car.
Honestly, like, okay,
what?
Hot, but like, also, who's looking? What's going?
No.
Wait a minute.
How tinted are these? Okay, the windows are tinted because that's what he says at the end. Don't worry, the windows are tinted. Okay, but are they soundproof?
And don't they have a driver too?
They have a driver. Like, okay. So it's not soundproof.
In so many books and movies, like, the romantic leads have a driver, but they're like doing stuff in the back of the car. I can't not think about the driver.
The poor driver.
Ever since that Chuck and Blair episode of Gossip Girl, like, that was about to be my favorite, and I was like, oh, the driver.
But then it's like, there's one point in that scene where they're in one position, and it's from Vivian's perspective.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
all of a sudden, they're in a different position. And
that happens so many times, though. Like, in the book.
But in Vivian's head, she's like, I don't even know how we got here. It's like, girl, try to explain it, because
No, please. I don't know how we got here either. And like, when you're reading that stuff and you're trying to get into it, like, you need to be able to imagine things. So yeah. I'm not. No, and some of the ways that, okay, her style of like writing, like the spice is it's just not for me. Like, this is a quote. Rough yet smooth, firm yet pleading, carnal yet tender. Like, too many yets, Anna. I'm sorry.
I don't remember that part.
I pulled that straight out of the book, girl.
Damn. I didn't mind the sexy parts. It's for me it was only the car one that I could remember being like, wait, what? How big is this car?
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like when I'm reading a book where I really am shipping the main characters and like it's like a slow burn and I'm like can't, like I'm really involved in their relationship, the spicy scenes just hit so well. But this book, the spice, I just felt like, okay, I'm trying to get into their relationship, and it's like, okay, spicy scene, okay, flip, 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 trying to get more into their relationship. Like, the spicy scenes weren't like hitting me like how they were intended to. They
Okay.
didn't. They missed the mark for me, um, in this book.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I get it.
Um,
For me, no, but just the car one, where I was like, wait,
I get you. I get you.
how in the world? Because we're
You,
in New York City.
I think you love this trope of like you just love like a rich ass man, a rich
Yeah, I
ass
do.
like strong, powerful,
They have
a
to
little
be
bit
a little bit
toxica man.
rugged, a little bit toxica. Yeah, I love a toxica man. I do.
That's your
I do.
favorite. See, that's like I feel like a trope that you really like. Like I like my favorite trope genre of man is like the Ali Hazelwood men. I
For
feel
sure.
like I'm
That
obsessed
is
with
your
them.
favorite.
Yeah,
And I
the
love those books too. I can
no, I
enjoy
know.
them. But yeah, swallow's a bad word. I inhale Anna Huang. But yeah, I love her style of writing because most of the time I'm interested to see now the second book with Kai because I feel like Kai is so different from the characters she normally writes, and I wonder if like beneath that like gentlemanly exterior he's gonna be this rugged. I don't think so, but we'll see.
I think he has to be different. I mean,
Yeah,
so this series has 3 books so far, right? It's coming out with a 4th.
3 and they're coming out with a 4th. Yeah.
I've read 2 of the books, and the men are pretty much copy paste. I'm just gonna, that's what we're here for. That's what we're buying the
Yeah.
books for. So that's no hate. That's just what it is.
But
But it would be interesting to see something a little bit different.
Kai seems different. Like he really doesn't seem like this Dante. He's not a Dante character. He's actually very personable. Kai is a gentleman. Kai is nice to everyone. Like Vivian describes him as like this really easy man to talk to, just very nice. And so it's going to be interesting to see how she does him because like, yeah, you're right. Like usually that's not my kind of character, but I feel like he might be your kind of character. So
Maybe. I really like the main character of the next book.
Isabella.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to read that. Okay,
most swoon-worthy moment of the book. Okay, fine, I'll go first. So most swoon-worthy moment of King of Wrath for me is definitely going to be the Legacy Ball when Dante comes back and he sweeps her out of Kai's arms and tells her that he loves her and that he can't live without her, and that he realized that like his revenge doesn't mean anything as long like if he doesn't have her. So
gorgeous.
that was my favorite moment.
Was when he meets her in the coffee shop and he's like groveling and just like, we can work, like obsessed over her.
Oh my
like,
gosh. Yes. And then I don't think we mentioned this, but like when he calls her that night, she's like, you're supposed to wait 3 days. It'll look desperate if you call after 1. And he's like, no, not looks, Mia Cara. I am desperate.
Yes.
So cute.
That I love it. Oh, he's seen the error. It's a person who's seen the error of his ways, and he's ready for love.
For sure.
Awesome. So the next episode will be covering the next books in the series.
The next book in the series. So I think the next one is King of Pride, which is
King of Pride.
Yeah, which is Kai and Isabella's book. And then after that, we're just gonna go through the whole series, right?
King of Greed.
So after that, we'll be doing King of Greed. Correct.
Which we see a little bit of Alessandra, who's the main character in that book here.
Yes.
And we do see a little bit of her love interest in that book too.
Yeah.
Very little though.
Well,
I feel like we'll get to know more of them.
It's interesting because they're married, so let's see.
Exactly, they're already married.
They're already married.
Second chance romances. I could get into that.
I love a second chance romance. I do.
It has to be done well.
Yes.
Or else it doesn't hit. But there is something to be said about, like, I feel like every single romance like we basically ever see or read is two people like getting together for the first time. So I do love it when that's like changed and it still works. I think it's like it's just beautiful. It shows that love can be experienced in like different times of your life and different eras of a relationship. Go.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, the Swoon Sister Society, where two sisters discuss the swooniest moments in books, movies, TV shows, and real life. We hope to see you next time.
See you soon.